Hello, welcome to Ceiba, Honduras. This is take number 2964. Say hi, guys. Hi! Let me give you an update as to what we're doing here. We have a system called Aquaponics, which is the combining of hydroponics, which is growing plants in water, and aquaculture, which is growing fish for harvest. Here's where we started. And this is just a little egg crate that has quite a few seeds planted in them. They're all doing wonderfully. One or two dead ones didn't show up of spinach here and there. But for the most part, we have all the spinach, lettuce, watermelon, tomato, onions, cauliflower, peppers, bok choy, Chinese, something or other. The water's messed up the lettering. Some cucumbers, some garden beans, all kinds of good stuff. This is our aquaponics system. Now, I'll explain to you how it works. And there's our 300-gallon fish tank. We have about 20, let me see if you can see any of them in here. Yeah, there's a few fish in there you can see. Back there's a couple of them hiding. They've only been in there 2 days, so they're still a little skittish and don't quite come up to communicate yet. All right, that's our inlet pipe. Yeah, there's one right there. He's coming to say hi. That guy actually jumps out of the water quite regularly, which is really nice. Our inlet pipe brings water in from the sump pump, and it does two purposes other than just fill the tank. It also brings in movement of water, which the fish really like. They like to feel like they're in a free environment, not a contained environment. And this is just some airflow coming in just to allow oxygen to work its way into the water. And forgive the background noise. We are in a city, and of course the city always has movement. Here's our drain pipe and our valve to control the amount of water that comes in. Our drain pipe is nothing more than a gravity feed, so it leaves the fish tank, follows the ground along over to the sump, and in the sump pump all it does is drop its water down in there. The sump does nothing more than collect the water from the 3 different grow beds, and this one looks like it's ready to start its siphon, so I'll explain that to you real quick. The water is going to come up to right about here, and that'll be a full tank, and then it'll siphon. So let's watch this down here. It's about to start kicking in some airflow. And whenever it kicks in the bubbles, it'll create a siphon, and that siphon, there it goes. And the siphon will drain that entire system out in about 3 minutes. It takes about 6 minutes to fill it, 3 minutes to drain it. This one just started as well. You'll see it's actually been going for a couple seconds, and or a couple minutes, it's almost to the end. And this is my sump. It's cost us about $100 to buy this down here. It was made in Detroit, which is wonderful. It cost us, it's about 2,800 gallons per hour, which is 4 times of what I actually need, but I plan on expanding this just to keep growing more and more. Now let me explain the system to you and how this siphon works. Inside here, we have a pipe that's about 6 inches tall, and we have a Coke bottle sitting on top of it with the bottom cut out of it. And then we have a air hose that comes out of the top, goes down to the bottom, about a half an inch from the bottom. When the water gets down to that level, it starts sucking in air instead of water, so therefore it breaks the suction and allows this to fill back up. Like I said earlier, I might have said it's 6 minutes to fill, 3 minutes to empty, which is pretty good timing. Now this one over here is also a siphon, and it has a different siphon. Instead of a hose, I decided to go with a vent cap, and it does the exact same thing. It still takes 6 minutes to fill, 3 minutes to empty, which is pretty cool. Over here, we do not have a siphon or have a complete fill and drain. Now when it drains slower than it fills, but it keeps up with it because I have holes on the bottom, which allows the bottom water to stay clean and doesn't get stagnant or anabolic. And that one will continue to stay full and never empty, as long as the pump doesn't shut off. Inside the grow beds, I showed you earlier, are egg crates. That's how we started some of the seeds. The rest of the seeds, or some other seeds rather, we just sort of cast in here. We have a very specific place as to where they grow for the purposes of the sun and experiments, just to keep track of things. Let me show you some of our progress. Here is a garden bean that was planted a few days ago, and this thing's already about 6 to 7 inches tall. Here's some coffee growing for me. No, I'm just kidding, that's not growing in there. Just a good place to hold it. Here's some cabbage. Here's some more cabbage. Now, some of the seeds are growing slower than others, but we have a bunch of other lettuce down in here. And that's about all that's in that grow bed. Now, in this grow bed in the back, we've done a couple different things. I have half of it exposed to the rain and half of it not. And as such, I've planted certain things in certain places. Back here we have another green bean. It is actually taller than the one that was out of the rain, but that one was planted a few hours before, so that could be the cause. Down here we have a very happy, thriving cucumber plant. It's about 3 inches tall. Have a couple tomato plants that have just sprouted overnight, and they're already about 2 inches tall, and one of them is right there. Now here we have a papaya tree. Now a papaya tree, everybody's telling me on Facebook, well, it's going to take years to grow. Well, not the case. In a traditional setting in dirt, yes, it would take years. But in this, there's a guy I learned a lot of this from. He has a website, and he grew a papaya tree down in Australia. It took him 13 months, and inside that 13 months, he harvested 42 pounds of papaya. That's pretty miraculous, and not in 2 years. All right, here we have a watermelon plant that's already starting to vine, and I'm going to run it over the top of this and down to the bottom and let it just grow along the base of the bed. Here's another watermelon plant, and we'll do the same thing with that. Let me take you back to the third one back here. And look, there's my coffee again. Darn it. Sorry for the noises, guys. All right, here we did the same thing. We have a couple of seeds grown in various different places, but the biggest one that has surprised us is the papaya plant. This one is 18 inches tall, and it was planted the exact same time as the third one over there. However, this one has a lot more direct sunlight, which will be probably a good benefit for it. And then we have a little surprise here. That little guy there is popcorn. When Jacob was making some popcorn, he spilled a couple kernels, just kicked them off the porch and into the backyard, and they started growing, so we kept them. Anyway, so that's where we're at, guys. We're down here in Ceiba, Honduras, trying to help the people out. Hopefully you'll join us, come down here and visit us. We would love to have you here. We got some rooms, got some beds, got plenty of floor space. Bring a sleeping bag, or we'll get a cot. Till then, email me, Facebook us, check out our websites, and we hope to see you soon. Have a great day. God bless.